As of 2021, the African continent is the fastest growing continent in the world. With the help of new technology, a large population, and foreign investment, the development of the African continent, its economy, and its infrastructure is being noticed all around the world. The unrealized potential of the continent is evident for many organizations around the world, and as a result, they try to invest in the region to benefit in the future. This is especially true with the National Basketball Association. Over the last 2 decades, the NBA has been trying to grow basketball into an international sport that they hope one day will be even more popular than soccer. With the game somewhat catching on in Europe and Asia, the association has been focused on the continent of Africa. On average, the people in Africa are taller and more athletic than other parts of the world, and the NBA has noticed that with some of the players in the league that came from Africa. As a result, the league has begun to make many different types of investments in the continent to grow basketball's popularity, develop African players, and help the overall African economy. 2003 was the first year a Basketball Without Borders camp was hosted in Africa, and there have been many more across the continent ever since. These camps are a collaboration with the NBA and FIBA to find young players from a particular country with unrealized basketball talent. These camps have become more prevalent throughout Africa and have helped start the careers of many current NBA players. Luc Maha Amute was one of the first Africans to make the NBA after being discovered at a Basketball Without Borders camp. Because of some previous success, these camps have become hotspots for basketball scouts to find and develop future basketball players. The Basketball Without Borders camps have been so successful that the NBA created the NBA Academy Africa in 2009, which is an elite basketball training center in Senegal for top male and female prospects all around Africa. Now, to get more Africans interested in basketball, they need to be exposed to the sport in the first place. The NBA knows this and is trying to grow the popularity of the sport on the continent and with the African youth. Their first attempt came in 2015 with the NBA Africa game. This exhibition basketball game was played in Johannesburg, South Africa, and was the first game involving a major North American professional sports league to take place in Africa. The game was between Team Africa and Team World. Team Africa featured players from the continent in the NBA or other NBA players who have close ties to the continent because their parents or grandparents were from there. Team World is made up of players from other parts of the world, but mostly made up of US-born players. Another exhibition game was played in 2017, and the most recent one was in 2018, played in Pretoria, South Africa. These games had decent fan attendance and highlighted some up-and-coming NBA stars with connections to Africa. Instead of playing another exhibition game, the NBA decided to go bigger. In 2019, the league announced the launch of the Basketball Africa League, a 12-team competition consisting of teams across the continent. Teams were based in Angola, Egypt, Kenya, Morocco, Nigeria, Rwanda, Senegal, South Africa, and Tunisia. It is the NBA's first pro league outside North America and is co-run with FIBA. Games were supposed to start in 2020, but unfortunately were delayed due to the global pandemic. There is no update on the status of the league, but I believe it will eventually become reality. So as you can see, the NBA has really been making an effort to grow the game of basketball in Africa. One of the reasons is because of past and current NBA players that came from the continent. Let's take a look at some of the more prominent ones. Now, the players in this video are narrowed down to NBA players that were born and raised in Africa. After being discovered, most of them moved to Europe or the US as teens to develop their basketball talents. Most of these players moved without any family members and did not know the language of the countries that they were in. Luc Bahamute was born in Yaoundé, Cameroon in 1986. He's the son of the elected chief of Bai Masai, which is a village in the district of Bafia. So technically, he's an African prince. Throughout his youth and his teen years, he had a lot of athleticism and was really interested in sports, and also got interested in playing basketball. Due to his father's political connections, he got a spot on the basketball team at Montverde Academy in Florida. So he moved to the US, and there he played basketball and developed his basketball skills. After high school, he played 3 years of college basketball at UCLA, and then in 2008, he was drafted 37th overall by the Milwaukee Bucks. In his NBA career, he played for the Bucks, the Sacramento Kings, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Clippers 2 different times, and the Rockets 2 different times as well. He's basically on the tail end of his career, but overall throughout his career, he was a backup forward for tanking teams, and he's currently a free agent. I don't know if any team's going to sign him anytime soon, and he's had a decent NBA career for a player who basically didn't know how to play basketball until his teens. Joel Embiid was born in Yaoundé, Cameroon in 1994, and he grew up playing soccer and volleyball, and he wanted to be a professional volleyball player in Europe throughout his childhood. Ultimately, he started playing basketball at 15 after seeing footage of Hakeem Olajuwon and he decided to join a basketball camp just to learn about the game a little bit more. That camp was actually held by Luc Mahamute, which he discovered Joel playing, and he helped him move to the US and also enroll at Montverde Academy at 16 years old. He played 1 year of college basketball at Kansas after high school, and then he was drafted in 2014 as a 3rd overall pick by the Philadelphia 76ers. So now he's currently the starting center of the Philadelphia 76ers. He's basically the face of the franchise and current frontrunner for the MVP award in this season. Overall, he's been a 4-time All-Star, 2-time NBA second team, 2-time All-Defensive second team, and NBA All-Rookie first team, and he has plenty of other awards to go along with those. Pascal Siakam was born in Douala, Cameroon in 1994, and as a teenager, he had really little interest in basketball, and he and his family also wanted him to be a Catholic priest. So that's what he had his mindset on. That's what he was focusing on. His older brothers decided to try basketball, and they invited him to try as well. And he was also found by Luc Mahamute at the basketball camp that he hosted in Cameroon. Pascal Siakam was 15 and had almost no basketball experience, but it was obvious he had really good athleticism and was really high energy. So at 16 years old, he moved to the United States and went to college at New Mexico State University after high school. He was drafted in 2016 as a 27th overall pick by the Toronto Raptors. And early on in his career, he wasn't really highly sought after. He played a lot of games in the G League. He developed through the G League team, and I believe he won the G League MVP and probably some other accolades in the G League. But once he got into the NBA, he became a very significant role player and power forward on the team. He even helped the Raptors win a championship, and he got voted Most Improved Player at that time. And now he's basically the Raptors' star player and the go-to guy on offense. He's a 2019 NBA champion, 1-time All-Star, 1-time All-NBA second team, and as I said previously, 1-time Most Improved Player award. Dikembe Mutombo was born in Leopoldville in the Republic of Congo in 1966. Until the age of 16, he was planning on having a medical career as a doctor maybe, but instead, at 16, he decided to get interested in basketball, and after working on his basketball skills, he moved to the US at the age of 21 to enroll in Georgetown University. After playing college basketball for a few years, he was drafted in the 1991 NBA Draft, 4th overall by the Denver Nuggets. Throughout his NBA career, he played for the Denver Nuggets, the Atlanta Hawks, the Philadelphia 76ers, the New Jersey Nets, the New York Knicks, and the Houston Rockets. Throughout his career, he was a dominant center, especially on the defensive end, and made a lot of All-Star appearances, 8 in fact. He was a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, and after his retirement, he was elected to the 2015 Hall of Fame class. Serge Ibaka was born in Brazzaville in the Republic of Congo in 1989. His parents were both basketball players, so from an early age, he played the sport as well and got pretty good at it. After developing some of his skills, he moved to Spain and played in the 2nd Division Spain Basketball League from 2007 to 2009, where a lot of NBA scouts noticed his athleticism. As a result, he was drafted in 2008, 24th overall by the Seattle Supersonics. He came over to the NBA in 2009 on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Then he continued his NBA career on the Orlando Magic, the Toronto Raptors, and the Los Angeles Clippers. Overall, throughout his NBA career, he's been a solid role player, 3-and-D stretch 4, but as of right now, he's kind of past his prime, but he's still a quality role player on an NBA team. He was a 2019 NBA champion, a 2-time NBA All-Defensive First Team, and a 2-time NBA blocks leader throughout his career. Bismack Biyombo was born in Lubumbashi in the Republic of Congo in 1992. At 16 years old, he entered a youth basketball tournament in Yemen and was discovered by a Portuguese coach who invited him to play basketball in Spain. He played for a few Spanish teams from 2009 to 2011, and then ultimately was drafted in the 2011 NBA Draft, 7th overall by the Sacramento Kings. He joined the NBA in 2011 on the Charlotte Bobcats, which later became the Charlotte Hornets, and then he played for the Toronto Raptors, the Orlando Magic, and then the Hornets once again. He's been a decent rim-running center and rebounder who really hasn't lived up to his high draft position, but he could improve maybe later in his career. In my opinion, he has bricks for hands when catching lobs, so that's pretty sad. Sheik Diallo was born in Kayes, Mali in 1996, and he grew up playing basketball with his 5 older brothers and some of their friends. He moved to the US to pursue a basketball career at 16 years old because he got pretty good at it, and he played 1 year of college at Kansas. He was drafted in 2016 as a 33rd overall pick by the Los Angeles Clippers, and he played on the Pelicans and a few G League teams throughout his career, the Suns as well, and now he's currently in a Russian basketball league. He didn't really get many minutes in the NBA, but I'm sure he's really working hard to get back into the league. We'll see. Hakeem Olajuwon was born in Lagos, Nigeria in 1963. Throughout his childhood, he would play soccer instead of basketball, but he played basketball for the first time at 15 years old when he entered a local tournament in his area. He moved to the US to play basketball at the University of Houston, and he was drafted in the 1984 draft, first overall by the Houston Rockets. He played for the Rockets for 17 years and the Toronto Raptors for 1 season. He was a 2-time NBA champion, a 2-time Finals MVP, the 1994 NBA MVP, and a 12-time All-Star. He had many other accolades also. He's a Hall of Famer and one of the best NBA players from the 1990s. He played the center position and basically one of the best centers of all time. Festus Ezeli was born in Benin City, Nigeria in 1989. Throughout his childhood, he concentrated on academics and graduated high school at 14 years old and wanted to be a physician, so he went to California to live with his uncle, where he planned on studying to be a doctor. While living with his uncle, he got convinced to try playing basketball because of his height and his natural athleticism. He played college basketball at Vanderbilt University and then was drafted in the 2012 NBA Draft 30th overall by the Golden State Warriors. He played 4 seasons for the Warriors and a few years in the G League. Overall, he was an important bench stretch 5 for the Warriors championship team in 2015, but since then, he hasn't really been a mainstay in the NBA. Gorgui Dieng was born in Kébémer, Senegal in 1990. He participated in a Basketball Without Borders camp and was named MVP of that camp when he participated. Because of his success at that camp, he moved to the US to go to high school at Huntington Prep in West Virginia and played basketball there. He played 3 seasons of college basketball at Louisville University and then was drafted in the 2013 NBA Draft 21st overall by the Utah Jazz. Later on in his career, he would play for the Timberwolves from 2013 to 2020, and currently this season he plays on the Memphis Grizzlies. Overall, he's been a quality role player at the power forward position and just a decent player and teammate in the NBA. Tacko Fall was born in Dakar, Senegal in 1995. At 15 years old and being 7'3", a Senegalese basketball coach heard about him and visited him in his town to take a look, and ultimately decided to convince Tacko Fall's mother to attend a basketball camp. Because of his height, he got the opportunity to move to the US at 16 years old to go to high school in Houston and train with the great Hakeem Olajuwon. Overall, he grew to 7 feet 6 inches and was highly scouted, but chose to go to UCF for college. After 4 years in college, he was undrafted in 2019, but signed with the Boston Celtics, and he's been a meme around the NBA since then. He played a few games in garbage time and is currently now in the G League. Overall, he's very raw and freakishly tall, doesn't appear to have much basketball skill, but his sheer height alone could get him playing time in the NBA. Manute Bol was born in Tourale, Sudan, now South Sudan, in 1962. He played soccer growing up, but stopped because he got too tall to play at 7 foot 7 inches. Later on in his teens, he started playing basketball, where he was discovered by a coach from New Jersey. Because of his lack of English skills and improper documentation in the US, colleges and the NBA did not believe his age for some time while he was in America. He was drafted in 1985, the 31st overall pick by the Washington Bullets. Throughout his NBA career, he played for the Bullets 2 times, the Golden State Warriors 2 times, the 76ers 2 times, and the Miami Heat just once. He was a quality starting center in the NBA for the 90s, and he goes down in history as being the tallest NBA player of all time. Luol Deng was born in Wau, Sudan, which is now South Sudan, in 1985. He moved to Egypt to escape the Second Sudanese Civil War at a young age, and he was mentored by Manute Bol and taught how to play basketball. His family moved to England in his early teens, and there he played soccer and basketball. At 14 years old, he moved to the US to play basketball at Blair Academy in New Jersey. He played college basketball at Duke University, and he was drafted in 2004, 7th overall by the Phoenix Suns. His NBA career featured stints for the Chicago Bulls, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Miami Heat, the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's been a solid 3-and-D wing player throughout his career and contributed to the Derrick Rose Bulls at the time and the LeBron James Heat when they won those championships. He's a 2-time NBA All-Star and pretty successful throughout his NBA career as a role player. Thon Maker was born in Wau, Sudan, which is also now South Sudan, in 1995. He escaped to Uganda with his brother and his aunt because of the Civil War, and eventually he moved to Perth, Australia at 5 years old. At 14, he was offered to play basketball in Sydney without ever playing before, basically just because of his natural height and athleticism. He played a few games there and was very successful, so he got offers to play high school basketball in the United States, where he moved to. Later on, he got drafted in the 2016 NBA draft, 10th overall by the Milwaukee Bucks, as kind of a raw prospect they hope would succeed in the NBA eventually. He played for the Bucks, the Detroit Pistons, and the Cleveland Cavaliers. At center, he was basically a boom or bust pick, and he's likely too skinny and too raw to really land a consistent role on the NBA team as of right now. Maybe things might turn around in the future, but I'm not really sure. Hakeem Olajuwon was born in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania in 1987, and he didn't play basketball until 15 years old when he started to watch pickup games around his area, and after that he got interested in the sport, so after getting pretty good, he moved to Texas to play high school basketball. At college, he would play at UConn, and then he was drafted in 2009, 2nd overall by the Memphis Grizzlies. Throughout his career, he played for the Grizzlies, the Houston Rockets, the Portland Trail Blazers, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and a few different G League organizations. Overall, he was a high prospect coming out of college, but never really found his footing on an NBA team. He struggled a lot, and as a 2nd overall pick, it's kind of sad. So as you can see, there are a few common traits between all the players from Africa. Many of them started playing basketball later on in their childhood, around the middle of their teen years. Many of them are tall enough to play the 3, 4, or 5 in the NBA, and many of them played other sports which helped their natural abilities and athleticism in the game of basketball. Don't be surprised when you see more African players in the NBA in the coming years with very similar stories. So anyway guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you like this video and comment down below who you think will be the next best NBA player coming out of the continent of Africa.